Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new issue of Mortal Realms magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course drop a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys. It goes a massive way to help the channel too. And without further ado, let's crack on with it. So this week we are on issue 73 of Mortal Realms magazine. That means there's 7 issues left. It's gonna go very quickly, I'm afraid. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel because we do have good old Warhammer 40k Imperium magazine coming out. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be my first proper foray into 40k. I've painted up some models in the past, whether it's one of the drop pods, whether it's some space walls, whether it's been some space marines, Tau, fire warriors, that type of thing. I've done little bits here and there, but I've never really properly tried to get into it. However, now is my chance. But before all that, of course, we've got a magazine to look at. We've got Mortal Realms magazine to crack through. So, of course, this week we have Neve Black Talon model, really cool model. You're definitely going to need your glue to build this one up. Follow the instructions very clearly. You have 2 options for the head. You can have a helmeted or non-helmeted. If you are going to paint a non-helmeted, cut that part of a sprue, but do not cut that part yet. What you want to do is when you build the full body is cut everything around that so you can use that bit of sprue to hold her and paint her head separately. I'll show you what I mean later because it's detailed in the magazine, but it's a very handy way of painting up the head without building the full model in one go, because painting the head on the actual full model is going to be a pain in the ass. Now, into the issue itself, we are greeted of course by Neve Black Talon. So Neve Black Talon is a good old hunter for Sigmar, and she is the most renowned hunter among the Hammers of Sigmar. She once belonged to a tribe in Gyron, where she practiced her craft alongside the Silver Neve and grew into a fighter of incredible skill. Since her reforging, Black Talon has worked as Sigmar's foremost assassin, and she has killed dozens of tyrants, slave masters, and evildoers across the realms. She uses speed as a weapon, tearing her way across the battlefield in a bloody blur. So, Neve Black Talon, a very unique character in the fact that she is one of the very few assassins that the Stormcast Eternals can operate with. A very interesting character as well. Because she's an interesting character, there is a novel based on Neve Black Talon, or more so, Neve Black Talon's novel has a model based on it. Either way, kind of works. And she is a pretty cool unit as well. Very interesting bits and pieces about her already mentioned on here, so definitely worth having a read through and getting through all of that as well, so enjoy that. Stepping into the realms, we have the Realm of Chaos, of course, which is outside of the mortal realms and is a place of madness and death to all that enter. So the Chaos Gods are formed from the strongest emotions experienced by mortal minds, and so too is their home. This nightmarish hellscape lies beyond the mortal realms and follows no natural laws. It is divided into 4 regions, each of which is shaped by their particular chaos god and the emotions that give them power. So, for instance, with the Realm of Chaos being split into 4, there are areas for Nurgle, Tzeentch, Slaanesh and Khorne. Khorne's area rings with battle for all eternity, and he's very fiery and kind of just, ruined. Tzeentch has a crystalline labyrinth that is filled with puzzles and passageways and everything like that. Nurgle is very pox-ridden and is very Nurgle focused, so very much about the focus on disease and corruption and kind of, in a twisted way, life itself. And then there is, of course, good old Slaanesh, where the Head Knights kind of hang around, and I can imagine it's filled with orgies and a lot of decadence in that area as well. With the Realm of Chaos, it is mainly inhabited by the demons, so of each follower of each kind of god. So whether they are the Bloodletters of Khorne, whether they are good old berserkers, whether they're the pox-ridden plague and puscoils and everything like that that the Nurgle, follow Nurgle, or pink horrors, blue horrors, and Nurglings. There is a bit of everything for everyone, essentially, in the realm of chaos. Yeah, very interesting stuff. Not many stories are based in the realm of chaos, and of course they do have their own recognition throughout the underworlds and places and the darker corners of the mortal realms. Then we have more information about Gloomspite Gits and the beautiful, crazy creatures known as squigs. So squigs are fungal creatures with huge appetites and huge teeth. They are little more than mouths with legs, and there is nothing that they will not try to eat. So squigs are toothy monsters that form from fungi deep in the caverns of the mortal realms. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, but all have one thing in common: a need to bite anything or anyone who dares come too close. So these little balls of hate are very, very gobby, and they will try to eat everything and everything. Indeed, Gloomspite Gits utilise them, whether they herd them and kind of shove them into their own little battle lines, or whether they ride them into battle. Many different ways of doing it. They also have a habit for eating some of these grots as well, every now and again, so it does backfire on the grots. There are many different versions of the Gloomspite of the squigs though, from bat squigs to pox-ridden squigs to squig hoppers, cave squigs, giant cave squigs, and mangler squigs, and there are a few others as well that are not mentioned on here, but these are absolutely nutty, yeah, they look like feral dogs that are absolutely bonkers at exactly the same time. But really good stuff. I do quite like squigs. They have a bit of a uniqueness about them. Then, of course, we have the Soulblight Gravelords. So the Soulblight Gravelords are, of course, the vampires of the mortal realms. They walk among the cities, the streets, and the homes of mortals. They prey on them. They have a kind of a twisted, mirrored civilization of aristocracy. They have lords, nobles, and everything like that have from kind of great dynasties, and the dynasties can rise, they can fall, and everything like that. They all have also been through the ritual of the blood kiss at some point in time, and they are centuries old in a lot of cases. A couple of notable vampires, of course, being Neferata and good old Radakar the Wolf, and then you've got Lauka They of the kind of the Soulblight Gravelord sets that just came out recently, and there are many other bits and pieces. Mortals are essentially their food supply, so they're a bit more unique. Of course, because they do like to kind of follow the unique version of civilization that they have a lot of aristocracy within their bloodlines. They also have feral horrors. They control the undead legions and monsters and beasts as well, whether it is dire wolves, death rattle skeletons, dead walker zombies, corpse rats, the good old blood bats, monsters such as the Vargskia and Terrorgeists and everything like that. And then of course they have their bloodlines, whether it is Radakar the Wolves or Radakar the Beasts bloodline for Vycross, or they have the good old Anthari bloodline, I think it's called, and a few others as well, so they have a lot of uniqueness about them, and very interesting as well. So they have an affinity with beasts and the dead. Yeah, how to build section. Make sure you read it, make sure you follow it, because otherwise you will go wrong with building Neve Black Talon. You are going to need glue, and you are going to need to make sure you trim pieces down correctly to get them just right, so that it kind of fits all together. As I say, do it in sections. So for instance, with painting the non-helmeted head, cut that section out exactly like it's shown in the magazine, because then you will get it right, and you can paint that head separately and make sure you get enough detail on there to get it right and make it look cool, and then pop it on and away you go. So if you're using the helmeted head, you can just pop the helmet on. It's not going to matter too much because the helmet matches in with the armor. I personally would always go for the helmet-less head because it looks better, it looks cooler, and she stands out more as a character then as well. Your painting section, very easy, very similar to pretty much all the other Stormcaster tunnels that you've done, so have fun with it. Very easy to do, you can't go too far wrong, and yeah, have fun. So really good stuff. Your war scroll for Neve Black Talon, so she does have a missile weapon in the shape of a Boltstorm pistol. She also has the 2 whirlwind axes as well, which are your melee weapons, and they do also, she has some unique abilities, whether it being a Wind Rider, being a nemesis, so she deals additional damage to anybody who has a hero kind of keyword. And she also does a bit of extra bits and pieces as well, so she generally doesn't stop moving a lot of the time. Then on the other page of that as well, so you've got your other bits and pieces, so detailing what is a hero and what isn't a hero, and how that damage works to them, and how the Wind Rider ability works as well, whether it, because you have to have essentially some stuff like a Griff Charger in front of them. But ride etheric winds, and she can kind of move in behind them quite quickly, which is pretty cool. And yeah, then you've got your battle kind of plan, which is the hunt, still in Akshi, of course. So you've got all of your different bits. So pick 3 heroes, pick 4 of the troops, and yeah, victory points are given to the Stormcast player for killing heroes from a Nighthaunt range, 3 points for any generals, and then your Nighthaunt need to be controlling the objectives. Then we have a pull out for Feast of Bones. So Feast of Bones was one of the box sets that we released a couple of years ago, which was Ossiarch Bone Reapers, and at the time was the only way to get the Ossiarch Bone Reapers when they first released it. Also kind of first delving into the Ossiarch Bone Reapers themselves, so the Necropolis Stalkers, the Master of the Bone Tithe, Morghast Archai, and the Mortek Guard were in that box, alongside the Ogre Gutbusters, which are pretty cool, and I have painted some of these more than I've painted my Ossiarch Bone Reapers. So you had the Tyrant, Lead Belchers, Ogre Glutters, and the Iron Blaster as well. I must admit, I really like painting the Iron Blaster. That was a really, really cool model to paint up. Definitely one of my favourites as well. That one was really, really good stuff. It gives you a bit of information about them and a bit of the other bits and pieces as well too with them. So whether they are Warriors of Bone, being the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, or the fact that the Ogres can actually eat the bones. Moving on though to next week. So next week we will be getting Vanguard Raptors and Ether Wings as well. Really cool unit. If you can, get 2 copies of the issue, because there is an alternative build to them models as well. And then issues 75 to 78 we get the Mortis engine. So for 4 issues that Mortis engine is going to be ours. Pretty cool. It's a pretty cool model. There are multiple ways of building the model as well, so you don't actually have to have a Mortis engine. So there are other builds that it can make. The magazine will not tell you what the other builds are, it will not detail them, it will not kind of go through them, but you can kind of change it around a little bit as well. So it's entirely up to you if you want to try and get extra issues of that, so you can do the other builds as well. But for now, that is it from me. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye now.